This program is brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana. Thank you for watching First Issues. We're in pursuance of bringing you entrepreneurs who are working tirelessly to make names for themselves and the societies within which they operate. They endeavor to not only create employment for themselves, but for others, especially now when joblessness is on the rise. On the segment, we took a short drive to Moemedi to have a chat with Moemedi Makhurutha, who is the founder of Theatre for Development Botswana, or TFD Botswana for short. His is a creative arts organization that integrates art into community, social, and economic development projects through services such as creative workshops, content creation, and performances. As an art form, Theatre for Development typically endeavors to build awareness about critical topics within a political or developmental context. In this case, this flagship project has hosted workshops on conflict management, effective communication, and many other corporate issues with various local organizations. All this in an effort to demonstrate that art is not just for entertainment, but it can be used to foster harmony and understanding within a community while also making a living from it. We stopped by Theatre for Development to speak to Moemedi about this undertaking to fully understand his vision.
It was the love for the arts from way back as a performer, as a storyteller. You develop something in you, and then that thing that I had in me pushed me for because of this company, Theatre for Development. Basically, school the drama, I was SADC best actor. I was for so many years. I've directed schools for so many years. Up to national level, and all SADC countries I've traveled them through school programs. And then I became a member of the Amakus and Mahosi back then. And then I started Bopakan and Theatre. Then I wanted to professionalize, my space. And then I started Theatre for Development Botswana.
Let us understand here, right? This was a passion project for you, and then engagement. But what is it about this that said, or what was it in the community that said to you, you know what, I can actually commercialize this and make it into something, say, I myself can make a living from, and you went into entrepreneurship for it?
Yes. World Health Organization. USAID Botswana. We got a fund to start Makhabanil Kabubutus back then. And then I left the Makhabanen program because the central HR officer and doing it part-time. And then Tiro came. And then when this came for the second time now, US Embassy in Pera to work with Youth Health Organization, I was the chief arts officer. And the impact in the drama HIV AIDS more bananing. When I saw the changes and the outreach programs and being able to change a person from through theater, there's healing and transformation. This is something that one can really make a profession. Hence why I went back to vets and did applied drama and theater studies now so that I can specialize in therapy again.
But right there, what is it that you would say was the most difficult thing about making all of this come together, and how did you navigate that space? I mean, you're talking about going back to school, interacting with people and making certain realizations and that sort of thing.
It's a simple one for me. This one was convincing my parents that I can leave HR as a profession and become a storyteller as a profession. Convincing them, that them giving me the time to say, okay, fine, we see the impact, we see the awards that are coming every time and again, even though my dear sons are still, but because it's a calling, man. Storytelling is a calling. You can't otherwise wa kukubala. So winning that hela gore ke khone go nna ha tsele ba tsedi ke ba convince, and le gompiena as we grow kana no simolo nna le bana wa tsa o nna hana gona ntse re wa rehearsaling go ba convince and have that support ke gona le go dileng gore ke khone ke bile ke tswele ke leng ha ke leng teng kana kwa gompiena.
Let us talk some more around that. Fears, right? What are some of the fears that you have specifically about this project that may actually be keeping you awake at night? But in spite of that, you keep going, you keep trying.
So my fear of leaving this place, leaving this journey, that is the fear. Are you telling me after all these years I can just go? So that's why every day the Arts Center project must come.
Especially, and the community at large. What words or sage words of wisdom would you like to impart to them, especially Gaati, looking at when you've commercialized it and with this mindset, your parents were very skeptical. You're leaving a well-paying job to pursue this. How would you want to encourage that change in mindset?
I think let's keep pushing, and it's nice to know who you are. That alone, just to have a sense of belonging and to have a purpose and to know your story. You know, madi a goroga a go itlhela, you know, and hala tsena tla go goroga a itlhela gore now you are grounded. You don't live on the money, the money lives with you. On tsara gram so nka ba hala kere aba tswelle ba khotlhelle, yes go dingalo, but when people ba bona your story, ba bona your journey, it's easy now to bring, you know, stakeholders.
In whatever you do as an entrepreneur, aim to leave a lasting legacy, a legacy that will echo long after you've departed from this earth. At least that's the ideology Moemedi Makhurutha lives by. With that, see you after commercials.
Bitsa motho gore motho a leke mangwala go duela metsi.
Mama, ka re jana ha o tlhoka le go tsamela khakala gore go duela metsi. FNB re diretse tiro motho. Ma kwa go marekisetsong a ile gore ana le tshwala FNB Cash Plus. So se tlhokanyela ke o mangwa ga go mo tirisong le reference number e bon dinomoro tse diriswang go rurahatsa dituelo tsa gago.
FNB what?
FNB Cash Plus.
Madonna makante ke montso samplele ka manane wa FNB ya Cash Plus.
La ha re le nna ke gone go utwang ka dona ebile ke ne ke sa dumele.
Deposit cash and coins, withdraw from e-wallet, make cardless cash withdrawals, buy prepaid airtime and electricity, pay bills such as water, electricity and many more.
FNB. Dona. Nyawa ene ke ra sa thare. Mpare motiki. Na ke ra go motho hela mamarapedi. O tola skontere hela. O bua go semosong wa go duela semosong. Manane wa FNB Cash Plus.
FNB, how can we help you?
Amogelesega mo lenaneong la First Issues. Re mo legatong la bobedi la thulaganyo ya rona. Le mo go lone re buang le bagwebipotlana ka dikgwetho tse ba kopanang le tsone mo loetong la bone. Dikgwetho tse di tla ka go harologana ga tsone, mme bile di pateletsa bagwebi go di rarabolla ka potlako le bonokopila. Pirimaneng eno re bua le mme Kefilwe Ruwona kwa Ruwona Farms. Mo thulaganyong tse di mmalwa tse di fetileng re ne re kopane le Rre Jackson Ruwona ka tshimo ya bone e mo go yone ba lemang dinamune ka mehuta ya tsone. Rre Ruwona o ne a re tlhalosetsa fa ba setse ba simolotse go bapala maungo go rekisa ebile mo nakong e sa fediseng pelo ba tla bo ba rekisetsa mabentlele a magolwane. Ka se sebaka re bua le mme Ruwona maikaelelo e le go itse gore le ntswa kgwebo go lebega e dira sentle dikgwetho tsa ba mekamekaneng le tsone ke dife mme ebile ba kgona jang go di tila. Ruwona ra go amogela mo lenaneng la rena la First Issues re na le wena gompieno ha Ruwona's Farm e leng gore ke yone kgwebo ya lona le Rre Ruwona. Jaanong re ne re kile ra bua le Rre Ruwona ha ka kgwebo ya lona ya re bolela ka lone le etelela lona le ba go bipotlana. Jaanong se re batlang go se tlhaloganya mo go wena gompieno ke gone gore dikgwetho tse leng gore di kile la kopana le tsone mo kgwebong e ke dihe.
Kgwetho e tona re kopaneng le yone ga re simolola the citrus farming ke gore ko re rekang di-seedling teng ga re simolola farm ka 2021 ne re kgona go di reka hela ha bo Northwest Northwest go gauhi yaanong go raya gore re ne ga nna le banene ga tswalwa some nurseries because of CBS black spot. Ha go tshwara black spot be go raya gore you can now only re ka bona dithare hela ko Western Cape mo go raya gore ano dithare tsa dingwe tsa rona re di reka as far as Cape Town. So ke the main challenge because go a tura go di tsisa ka kwano. Challenge nngwe re kopana le yone ke gone gore ga gona much knowledge gongwe knowledge nyane mo gae ka tsa dinamune. So every time I talk kana le thuso nngwe kana le sengwe go raya gore mme la clear na le support ya bone ba nursery re rekang go go bone. So every time we face a challenge we get back to them ba to ba re thusa. Challenge nngwe be nna yone ya melemo go na le from time to time ali bona malwetse mo especially go nna selemo go nna le malwetse nyana here and there ano gantsi melemo e re bonang kwano thata ga se uthela ile gore ile ba ga nthata le tsa dinamune. So go ra gore le gone gore reke melemo ka tsone di pesticides we have again go tola bodara ka kwa gore kgone go bona melemo. So ke feel gore ke tsone di challenges tse re le baganeng le tsone tseo gongwe potso a mela talangwe ya rabile ha morago gone ha mme ke batla gore gongwe ka ya tolosa ka gore tlhalosetsa gone gore dikgwetho tse ha le kopana le tsone ka go harologana ga tsone le di hema jang ke tsa ke re kgwebo ya lona nang ngwa tse nne ntse e tsweletse bile re bona goreng di thare le tsone go na le tse di 4 years go na le tse di ngwaga tse tharo hela la botho e leng gore nyenyane na le ngwaga. Kgwetho ne ke bua nngwe ya tsone ke gore reka di-seedlings kgakala so gore ngwe re kgone go leka kana go hokotsa manoko bone boturu bone ke bua ka jone re ikgobokantse le rena le ditsala o mongwe o fa mahapele o mongwe ka kopele. So every planting season go ra gore ra kopanna e be re ka reka be go ra gore re share the cost which makes it much better. Ga re kopana le dikgwetho tse we can try and re tsene mo di online short courses se leng gore ta bo re ithuta re kgona go tlhaloganya e be di le ka gore thusa gantsi ra thusa ga mo go tsone mme go ngwa go tsenela ko teng. That's when re refer back to korete re ke dithare teng mme gone ke eletsa keletso ya me ke gore ha ne go ete go nne le di seminar tsone tse di buang thata ka dinamune would really appreciate to have such le rona re ka nna re di join.
Ponelo pele mme gone ke eng ha o lebile mme Ruwona gone goreng le na le dikgwetho tse ke tsela di lwantsha la di hema maikaelelo ka go pheletsong ke eng.
Tota ponelo pele ya rona ke gore re bata go ithuta as much as we can ka di citrus re re tsone di course ya ka ne ke bua gore re kgone go hela re itse go grafta so that motswana o latela o batang go reka dithare ga thoka le go di latela se kgakala e score di rekang teng a itseela gore o ka di bona ha Ruwona's Farm. Ponelo pele ngwe go re ga re na le knowledge eo le rona tsatsi lengwe re ka tshwara seminar ra ruta batswana ka dinamune ke yone ponelo pele ya rona. Ponelo pele ngwe gape ke gone gore re hele re kgona go ira re rekisa namune as a fruit re kgona go ira le di products tse petse di ka irwang ke dinamune re ka ira bo di jam re ka ira di juice because in future we're going to have a plant juicing plant ke sengwe se leng gore ko pele re tana le sone wa ba re ka ira di juice o ta bo kgona go tsa juice le fresh from Ruwona's Farm o kgona go reka serum e tswa mo Ruwona's Farm. So ke dio tsotlhe tse re di eletsang gore re di hitelle ko pele.
Go tlhoka boitseanape mo gae ga se lebaka le o ka ikemelang ka lone go tlogela kgwebo e phuthama. O ka tsena mo maranyaneng go ithutuntsha ka se o batlang go se dira mo kgwebong ya gago. Jaaka mme Kefilwe Ruwona a sa tswa go re tlhalosetsa. Re tla go bona moragonyana.
Ta bitsa motho gore motho a leke mangwala go duela metsi.
Mama ka re maledi ana ga o tlhoka le go tsamela kgakala gore go duela metsi. FNB re diretse tiro motlho. Mma kwa go marekisetsong a ile gore ana le tshwao la FNB Cash Plus. Se se tlhokanyela ke o mang wa gago mo tirisong le reference number e bong dinomoro tse di dirisiwang go ruragatsa dituelo tsa gago.
FNB what?
FNB Cash Plus.
Madonna makante ke mo ntse sampolele ka mananeo a FNB ya Cash Plus.
Hela ha re le nna ke gone go utang ka dona ebile ke be ke sa dumele.
Deposit cash and coins, withdraw from e-wallet, make cardless cash withdrawals, buy prepaid airtime and electricity, pay bills such as water, electricity and many more.
FNB. Dona. Nyawa ene ke ra sa thare. Mpare mo tiki. Na ke ra go motho hela mamarapedi. O tola skontere hela. O bua go semosong wa go duela semosong. Manane wa FNB Cash Plus.
FNB, how can we help you?
Welcome back to First Issues and to this segment where we discuss solutions to those pesky challenges that entrepreneurs encounter every so often. On the other hand, however, doctors warn to function at optimum best and actually be able to achieve those dreams, good quality sleep makes part of the magic recipe. So much so that our guest, pharmacologist and consultant cardiologist, Dr. Kiran Bhagat, calls it nature's nurse. While the immediate fault is usually finance-related or client-associated or third-party induced, sometimes the problem is as simple as a lack of sleep. In its nature, entrepreneurship is a path that demands hard work, long hours, and immeasurable sacrifices in order to achieve the dream. Unfortunately, sometimes this means forgoing good quality sleep, as this quickly becomes dubbed a luxury. What is the science behind sleep, and how can you, as an entrepreneur, improve the quality of yours? Doctor, thank you so much for coming on First Issues and affording us your time. We're here today to talk about sleep for entrepreneurs, right? When it comes to overall health, we hear a lot about diet, exercise, but how important in that scheme of things is sleep?
We can think of it as the body's repair and restore cycle, if you like. Without adequate sleep, the benefits of healthy exercise and regular healthy diet are diminished. It's during sleep that our body tends to repair cells, consolidate, replenish, remove garbage from the system. So sacrificing sleep is like trying to build, I guess, a house on a weak foundation. It's the platform on which everything else should be built.
When it comes to entrepreneurship, a lot of entrepreneurs tend to pull long hours, all-nighters, because they're trying to get to the goal quicker, right? But what are the immediate short-term effects of doing that, of getting very little sleep?
I think everybody will know that the effects are immediate and widespread. With the moment you wake up from a poor night's sleep, on a cognitive or sort of brain level, you'll experience what I call cognitive impairment. It's like you focus slower. Your reaction time is slower. Your decision making is poorer. You have memory lapses. You forget what somebody's. You're talking to somebody and you don't understand what they're saying, or you forgot what they're saying. Emotionally, you become more irritable. You get more prone to stress. You're less able to regulate your mood. You become moodier when you haven't had a good night's sleep. Everybody knows these things, And biologically, what happens is you start manufacturing stress hormones, cortisol, and cortisol makes your immune system weak. You then suffer susceptibility to flus and colds and illnesses. It's a state of physical and mental exhaustion that puts you and I guess others at risk as well. So that's the short-term effects of pulling these one-nighters. And we see this, unfortunately, even in today with our doctors who unfortunately do have to do, night calls and the midnight calls. And you can see the effect the following day, that their decision-making is poorer, their ability to execute is poor. Dare I say, the ability to do surgery is impaired. So this is the short-term effects. And I don't think anybody out there who's had a poor night's sleep knows any different.
Let us talk about sleep hygiene, right? What practices can our viewers adopt, especially the entrepreneurs, when they want to clean up their sleep, have better sleeping habits, that sort of thing? Something that they can do from tonight that can help improve their sleep.
Well, I think entrepreneurs are probably the worst culprits in terms of insomnia, because they take their work home, they take their computers to their beds or their laptops or their phones, and we've talked about this before, that the laptop or the phone or the TV emits blue light. This blue light is very similar to the light of the sky, and it hits a part of the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is behind the two eyes, right in the middle, and it stimulates part of the brain to say it's still daytime. So the brain doesn't switch off, it doesn't begin to produce sleep hormones called melatonin and lots of other things. So if you on your device, or you're watching a horror movie, or you're watching TV, or the TV for the worst thing is actually in your room, then you're not going to sleep. So entrepreneurs should know that there should be a wind down time, that between 30 to 60 minutes before you go to bed, you should begin to switch off your devices. You should make sure that you're not taking alcohol, because alcohol may make you numb in terms of brain, but it gives you very poor sleep. You should have stopped taking coffee as an entrepreneur by lunchtime that day, because coffee has a long half-life, and if you have a coffee at 1 or 2 in the afternoon, it's still in your body at 6 or 7 o'clock at night.
For somebody who's been trying everything humanly possible to improve their sleep, get a great night's rest, but it's still not working, what last piece of advice would you give them to try?
As I hope it's understood now, that sleep is really a vital pillar in terms of your health. And, taking charge of your sleep is not a luxury. It's a medical necessity. We've talked about the effects that occur. So go and see a doctor. They will talk to you about different techniques. We call them cognitive behavioral therapies. They'll teach you how to wind down. They'll teach you how to chill. They'll teach you about the sleep hygiene. They'll work out possibly things that may be causing insomnia. You may not be breathing properly at night. We call that sleep apnea, where you're blocking the airways because of a sinus congestion, or you've got issues with your jaw. It may be that you have a condition called restless legs, where your legs have to keep moving at night, and that keeps you awake. It may be that some of the medication that you're taking is causing the insomnia. So the doctor may be able to analyze and assess and say, look, let's change the routine, let's change your pills and see what happens.
We hope that as entrepreneurs, you'll take Dr. Baggat's words of caution against not getting enough quality sleep. Be willing to let your body, and most importantly, your brain, rest, so you are able to set and achieve your goals with a refreshed mind. With that, have yourself a pleasant evening. Good night. This program was proudly brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana.